Here is the brand new gospel book from Anglican Liturgy Press, the liturgical imprint of Anglican House Publishers. This is fresh from the boat from Italy, bound by one of the finest binderies in the world, L.E.G.O book binders. It's in real, genuine cowhide, red leather. We've got the raised bands on the spine, the Jerusalem cross closely attached to the Book of Common Prayer 2019, and it is the English Standard Version of the Gospels. The cover art was designed by Daniel Mitsui, and this is Christ in glory seated upon the orb of the earth with the four evangelists and their prophetic symbols whispering into their ear, signifying the, the speaking of the Holy Spirit through the evangelists. The size of the Gospel book was designed to fit inside the standard ALMI slipcase, in case folks would like to place it inside the case, but also, just as a standalone book, it was made to be beautiful and conducive to worship in its design as well. So here it is. It was the cover was hand built, so we have these nice, beautiful rounded corners, and it was built to last generations. So this is a really thick PVC end leaf, and we can see the ridge from an additional layer of interior mull. So this binding is bulletproof. We have the beautiful gilding on the edges, beautifully done. A single ribbon to mark the gospel for a given Sunday. And we have the Gospels for all the Sundays of the year, years A, B, and C, according to the Lectionary in the Book of Common Prayer 2019. And unlike previous editions of the Gospel book by other publishers, where if a reading is repeated somewhere in the Lectionary, they'll just have a note saying, see page 95 or whatever for that other reading. The readings were fully duplicated, so that there's never having to turn pages back and forward. And yes, it meant a few extra pages, but that was thought to be well worth it for the ease of use. So here we have all of the Sundays of the year, including the holy days, and also Gospels assigned for specific pastoral occasions. They're all in here, and this is a beautiful, creamy 80 GSM paper. And then in addition, we put a reverse lectionary in the back, so that if you're looking to find a particular gospel, you can find on what day it occurs and then locate it and use it for Eucharist at special occasions or things like that. So I'm really, really pleased with how this turned out. Big thanks to Bryan Schultz, who did the legwork on the typesetting and who found these beautiful initial letters that begin each gospel. And for gospels where there's an optional section, the characteristic vertical line is used to indicate which passage is optional according to the parenthetical verses. So here it is, the gospel book for the ACNA, the English Standard Version being the normative translation, following the lectionary of the Book of Common Prayer 2019. This is, and we got here the Jerusalem cross at the beginning of each gospel to indicate where it begins. And as much as possible, gospel started a new page. Occasionally, if there was only a fragment of a previous gospel and there was a lot of white space, there would be a gospel here, but usually a gospel begins each page. So here it is, the ACNA Gospel Book.